So here's the thing. Recently, I've been told that I put out a lot of content, and I was asked, how do I do it all? And it took me a while to answer because I do a lot of stuff. You know, I'm a jack of all trades, truly a master of none. Sometimes there isn't a process, but most of the time, there's a little bit of a formula that goes into some stuff. But before we get into all of this, I first want to talk about what it is that I do creatively. Luna, no. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm in a band called Unsociably High, and one of the things that I do is I'm a singer, songwriter / performer. This is Luna, and are we sitting? We're lying down. Amazing. So this is the first thing that I tell people when they're like, what do you do for fun? At a deeper level, this is storytelling, this is writing lyrics, creating a beat and a melody. And I also use my voice to convey emotion so that you feel something. And then number 2, I am a video content creator, which is what you're watching right now. Hi, hello, how you doing? What you might not know is that I've been making videos for like ever.
This is a day in my life.
I started in high school and we're still kicking it.
In sickness and in health. I do. Are you sure about that?
Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around for so long, you're the best. So how did I even get here? Let's take a trip down memory lane. So growing up, I did very poorly in school. And the only thing that I was good at academically, the only thing I did well in academically was English. Mind you, I always fell behind when we were reading, books, and the teacher would be like, make sure that you get to chapter 6 by Friday. I'd be on chapter 2 by Friday, not understanding what I'm reading because neurodivergence. The only other thing I was good at was drama, theater. Okay, I was in musicals, I was in plays, and it was really fun, and it came really easily for me. And no, I'm not doing theater anymore, but I think that I find small ways to incorporate my inner child and like that younger version of myself by doing these creative things. And I really just wanted to explore what it felt like not playing a character and to challenge myself to do other things that I found difficult. Like, I'm just like getting into the meat and bones of everything now, and nobody asked for this. But I'm gonna give it to you anyway because I like talking about these things, okay? I read so many books about this and I just am really interested in it. And I just wanted to kind of let you in on what my process is, okay? And what my process has been, how I came to be here, because I'm really just like not, anyway. It's difficult for me to define exactly what my desire is. Before you make anything, there is this yearning in us. In high school, I made vlogs and like really silly, inappropriate videos simply to make people laugh. And honestly, that can be enough. And when we let these yearnings, these knowings, these itchings, when we leave them unnoticed, they can kind of fester inside of our body and take over. And I don't know. It sounds like fucking The Exorcist. That's not what I'm trying to say. We can either leave it unaddressed and just kind of exist, and we can either move towards it or move away from it. So let's talk about unaddressing something. When I say we leave things unaddressed, there's like this desire to create. But if we don't create, then sometimes there is like this self-loathing that happens because we're not doing anything with what we want to do. So let's talk about moving away from it. From 2014 and 2016, I was in a relationship with somebody who did not like to be recorded, filmed respectfully, okay? Listen, some of us are not comfortable with things, and that's okay. But I ended up like moving away from making videos, which I love to do, because I was spending so much time with this person. And I just like, I don't know, I was just like losing myself in a way. And so I was moving away from doing what I loved. So a few years later, I met Brendon, and all of a sudden there were these opportunities to just like be myself and to be creative. And honestly, it was overwhelming. Sometimes it's overwhelming to know that you have so much opportunity. We can overthink it to the point that it's like, oh my God, like I have to do all of these things because I'm gonna die one day, and like I don't have enough time and I can't decide on anything, which I think is a part of the journey, part of the process. So then we go into moving towards it. And when we move towards something, one of the first things that happens to me, that happened to me was doubt. I can't express to you enough how difficult it was for me to sing seriously in front of people, to appear as like myself in front of people. This is adjacent to, what do people think about me? You know, are they gonna be like, oh my God, look at this fucking bitch trying a new thing, she sucks. And it's really important to remember that it's not for them, okay? It's for you, it's for the people who care. I also want to acknowledge that this idea that, you know, when we're not good at something, it means that we're inherently bad, like we're just bad. And I know for myself that I have that thinking pattern because when I was growing up, you know, when I was bad at something, I was yelled at, you know. For example, I was really bad at math. My parents would try to help me and they'd just end up yelling at me and saying insert terms that I'm not going to say. And so when I became an adult, not only in the workplace, but especially in the creative and art world, you know, when someone would try to give me feedback or any sort of criticism, I would receive that or perceive that as a threat. But plot twist, it can also be that voice in your head that says that you're not good enough. The voice that says you're not learning this fast enough, that equals that you're stupid, because that's what our parents or whoever told us. It's this practice of returning to the thing that's difficult time and time again, even if the last time that you did it, it was trash. Like the amount of times that I have cried after a performance, I don't have enough fingers. Just because you're bad at something doesn't mean you are bad. I'm gonna say that one more time for the people in the back. Just because you bad at something doesn't mean you bad. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. But also, you know, we can listen to doubt. Like doubt isn't always like, oh, I'm like doubting myself. That means that like I should keep going and I should continue. Doubt can be like, I'm feeling kind of weird about this and I don't know if this aligns with my values. I don't know if I care enough about this. And it's okay to listen to that and to, you know, follow the message that your intuition is telling you, you know, to like just back off or to just put it aside for a little. You know, I almost like bought a whole ass business and then I was like, I'm really not passionate about this, and this, you know, if I was gonna do a business, I would want it to be mine and not like buy into it, you know. Ultimately, I didn't end up getting a loan for it, but yeah, like it's just kind of listening to if you should keep going, because it's okay to say no. But on the other side of that, it's like you don't know until you try. You don't know until you put whatever it is out there. You don't know until you like experience what you have to experience. Whatever I create, whatever I make, it always stems out of a concept or an idea, and this can be either something that I went through or something that I'm going through. In my videos, anytime I'm doing a sort of vlog where everything is poetic and there's like B-roll that's like dreamy, I try, that is usually stemmed out of something that I'm currently going through. Other ways that I get ideas, I like to visit different mediums of art that are different from the one that I'm concentrating on. So it's been a while since I've been to a museum, but I like to go to museums. So one time I went to this exhibit by General Idea, and it made me cry. And it reminded me that art can have this visceral effect on us and let us feel different feelings, you know? Similarly, anytime I watch a John Waters movie or something, it reminds me to look deeper into shame and taboo, you know, these themes that come up. Looking into what makes us uncomfortable and why. Another way that I get ideas is by listening to podcasts about creativity and art. One of the podcasts that I have been listening to for a really long time is called Creative Pep Talk. I want to say I've been listening to that since like 2019, and I've been listening since then every damn Wednesday. It has great tips on how to consistently show up to your creative practice. Each week they do a creative call to adventure, which is a kind of twist on, you know, the call to action. And that's basically like, think about this for the week and apply it to your creative practice. And that has been super helpful for me. I also listen to Design Matters, hosted by Debbie Millman, who has been talking to creative people. Okay, wait, how does it go? For 18 years, Debbie Millman has been talking to creative people about what they do, what they're thinking about and working on. But just listening to other people's ways of creating and coming to a result is fascinating, and it inspires me a lot. Sometimes I like take a walk and I don't listen to any podcasts or music. It's very rare actually that I walk and listen to things anymore. But those walks, man, is really where I just can iron out ideas. Sometimes I will actively talk to myself. Yeah, I think it's really important to go to explore things in your own medium as well. You know, I do draw inspiration when I go and see shows, you know, when I go and see live shows. When I watch a content creator or YouTuber who I admire, I'm like, oh my God, like that green screen overlay that they're using is dope. I also feel like I should have mentioned books that I read as well. I don't know if this will be the thumbnail of the video, but I took a picture of myself for a thumbnail, and I'm reading like the Yoko Ono grapefruit book. You know, it's very like, put a wet paintbrush in the sun and watch it dry, which is like, but it's also like, yeah, actually though, I'm dripping sweat. Planning and making it. I lumped these two together because they truly go hand in hand. Things are unplanned, and sometimes there is a formula. I'm pretty sure I said that at the beginning of today's episode. So with a video, it starts off with journaling most of the time, and that's just journaling about like what themes I could explore, and you know, once I have a theme, how can I execute this? And really it's all about like unthreading the yarn that's in my brain. Once I have that, either like I'm done journaling about it or I'm halfway through and I realize that it's like way too long for me to journal about and I'll just like tire myself, I move to the computer and I type things out. So I either go on Notion or Milanote, which is the sponsor of today's video. Just kidding. One day we'll get there. So once the video script is done, I prepare the B-roll shots and I write them down in a table. I did get this from Katie Steckley. She has like a free Notion template. And honestly, this stage comes either before or after I plan when I'm going to film. And most of the time, I make the B-roll after I set a date for myself to film so that I'm not endlessly like working on this video, right? I have like a due date. So I write down in my calendar and my agenda, film this video on this day. And I make sure that I have like a day off or lots of hours to myself. And then I give myself a date to edit and upload it. So I was explaining this to a friend and she said something really interesting in response, which was that she wasn't giving the same priority as everything else to her art, which I thought was really interesting. And then with songwriting, it's a lot more flexible. It used to start off with a pencil and my sketchbook, and I would just like write till the cows come home. And then I would either go to Brendon with what I have, and then we would kind of workshop a song out of it, or the other way around. Brendon would come to me with a melody or a song, whatever, and I would write lyrics to it. Sometimes it happens like this. Oh my god, there's so many possibilities. Is there one where we can do like stop? What's the problem? I don't know.
There's some Justin Bieber in there.
No!
Oh yeah, I get it, and it's cool.
Sometimes we sit and we write together. Sometimes I can't write to Brendon's music because his time signatures and are just crazy. Yeah, so sometimes like when we're writing together, it's me kind of like doing a blah 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 da 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 gibberish until I can formulate words to the song. So one of our songs, Who's That Child? It is not on any streaming platforms at the moment. It is on YouTube. That one started off as I like the way you move. And I was like, that's already a line in a song that goes, I like the way you move. So I replaced it with like the way you move when you're in a bad mood. So singing, songwriting, performing isn't as scheduled. There's a lot more flexibility to it. I try to do my warm-ups every day. I don't. I do it, I want to say most. I don't want to talk about it. It's very important to do your warm-ups. Do them. And then we have weekly band practices where we practice for, upcoming shows. But this is also really great. So I was like, I wasn't going to talk about this. It just came to me. But like, I used to be so against being in a band, especially when I was first starting out, just because I was so not confident with like my ability to understand music, to essentially be the weakest link. Okay, do you remember that show?
Trevor, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
But I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be in a band because it really holds everybody accountable. I have to make sure that I am prepared for band practices. However, having band practices themselves makes everything better as well. Sharing your art with whomever is how you grow. That's just my opinion, man. It's crusty, it's nasty, it feels gross, but we can edit things and retouch things forever, or we can just let it go and say, this is what I have right now. On those rare occasions, that I listen to or watch things that I've done in the past, yes, it's like, but it's also really lovely because I can see how I've grown and how far I've come. Recently, I watched a video of us performing for the first time. Walking down the street, watching faces of me. And I don't sound like that anymore. Like, I have changed. I used to sing like, walking, like I don't even know how to do it. Walking down the street, wondering faces I'd meet kind of thing. But now it's like I'm exploring my mixed voice, so it sounds a little bit more nasally. Walking down the street, wondering faces I'd meet if I got to work on time. It's just, I don't know. I feel like a little like fucking one trick pony. He's like, okay, one second. Okay. But also getting those other areas of my body in it too as well, so that it has a bit more of a balanced sound. And I still watch, videos of myself performing, and I'm like, great, 10 seconds of that whole thing was all right. So I guess I'll just post that little snippet. Versus before, it was like, oh my God, I can't post any of this. But that's how you grow, right? It's to think about how to do something better / how to like fully like present it in the body, mind, spirit that you're in at that moment. It's hard to explain. Brendon and I reflected on our country EP that we released. I think it was like now a year ago almost, question mark. And we're really proud of the EP. We had a lot of help from Kick Me Records and our friends to help us get that out to you. But I did voice my concerns, and we agreed that we do want to spend more time on vocals. This has been an ongoing theme between us, but I finally have Brendon in the palm of my hand, okay? And I'm like, we need to spend more time and money on vocals. So yes, it is cringy to watch our past selves, but we can also acknowledge that we're capable of growth. Thank you so much for being here, for existing. Thank you for watching until the end. If you would like any more information on my/our creative practice, you can watch these videos. I also put out a monthly podcast on our Patreon that you can pledge as low as $2 a month, where I kind of get in a little bit more deeply into the process and what it's like to be a musician/artist. Thank you so much to our patrons for keeping in touch, for supporting us, and for, contributing to not only our website, and for contributing to our next album, whenever that may be. Please let me know if you have any other video ideas. The suggestion box is open, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.